Eastern Conference Finals between the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks.
Yes, the Knicks and the Bulls are the headline attraction on Broadway. Better than 19,000 turning out, another capacity crowd at Madison Square Garden for Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Final between the New York Knicks and the two-time defending NBA champion Chicago Bulls. We welcome you to the NBA on NBC on prime time. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert, along with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello. And Michael Jordan certainly had himself a prime time performance in Game 4 on Monday afternoon in Chicago. He turned it from the 3 for 18 in game number 3. Now, from the Knick point of view, Mike, what does Pat Riley do tonight to defend against Michael Jordan?
Mark, 54 points is amazing, but how he got the 54 points may be even more amazing. A look at his shot chart to show the breakdown of where Michael Jordan took his attempts from. 9 shots came from beyond the three-point line, 10 what I would call long-range jumpers, only 3 attempts inside the lane area, and yet he was 18 for 30 from the floor. It gave New York problems in deciding to play him straight up or double team him because he never even put the ball down on the floor most times. He just went up over the top and knocked out jump shots. Tonight what you'll see is the basic New York defense. Extend them, play him straight up, try to challenge every shot, and if he puts it on the floor, then selectively go and double team him.
Now, Patrick Ewing was outstanding in games 1 and 2 here in New York. The numbers were decent from the games in Chicago in games 3 and 4, but he was not a factor. What have the Bulls done to quiet Ewing?
One word sums it up: frustration. Because Chicago has extended its defense, it's taken time off the 24-second clock, and as New York has tried to get into its half-court offense, it's taken so long to get Ewing the basketball, he becomes frustrated at times. Many times, in fact, stepping out away from the basket, turning himself into a face-up jump shooter. As far as the Chicago staff is concerned, this is great. No offensive rebounds for Ewing, no personal fouls, and they're big people, and I guess we need to give Bill Cartwright a little credit for doing a pretty good job.
And as you may be able to tell, this crowd is ready for tonight's action. As always, a star-studded crowd at Madison Square Garden. It is the toughest ticket in town. Back with the starting lineups in a moment. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks have won 27 in a row. Michael Jordan and B.J. Armstrong will open in the Chicago backcourt. Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant on the front line. And the center, Bill Cartwright, although he did not do it offensively the other day, did a nice job in keeping Ewing out of position. And the coach of the Bulls, the one-time New York Knick, who is being received in a different manner these days when he walks the streets of Manhattan, Phil Jackson. John Starks and Doc Rivers in the backcourt. Charles Smith and Charles Oakley up front for the New York Knicks. And Patrick Ewing at center. And, of course, the coach of the Knicks is Pat Riley. His club 37-4 here at the Garden during the regular season. And the Chicago Bulls have lost the last 6 games here in New York. Ed G. Rush, Mike Mathis, and Hugh Hollins are the officials.
Talking about a very veteran, experienced crew of officials here, ones that will pay strict attention to keeping this game under control from the beginning. Believe me, they understand the mentality of the two teams, how big this game is, and how they're both going to come out to start this game.
And certainly both coaches have made their feelings known as they have postured, depending on where the game has been played. Both Phil Jackson and Pat Riley have complained from time to time, just looking to get the edge. Tonight's game marks the Knicks' first game ever in the month of June. This is the latest the Knicks have ever played in a calendar year, and they do control the opening tip.
Interesting, at home in the Chicago Stadium, the Bulls would have double-teamed that opening tip immediately like they did in the previous 2 games. This time, they go back, play straight up.
Well, they collapse on Ewing, and a foul is called as Jordan collides with Ewing. Michael Jordan was called for 5 fouls in Game 4 in Chicago and picks up the foul very early.
One of his strengths, blocking shots from behind the offensive players' heads. Jordan loves to do it. Offensive players must be aware of him all the time when they lose sight of him, because he's probably sneaking behind him, trying to make something bad happen to that offensive guy. That time he got caught early. 14 seconds into the game, he picks up his first foul.
Patrick Ewing, as we mentioned at the start, from a statistical point of view, did the job, but he certainly has been a different player as opposed to games 1 and 2 here at the Garden. During the series, averaging 24, it's been consistency for Ewing, who had a very quiet 24 points on Monday afternoon in Chicago.
I think what you're referring to is that he just didn't seem to be as active or as involved in all the aspects of the game.
Jordan off the mark on his first attempt, but Pippen rebounds. Jordan dishes it out. Armstrong, yes! B.J. Armstrong hits from the corner, and the Bulls with a 2-1 lead. Charles Smith getting down. Charles Smith, the last 2 games, has not been able to stay on the floor because of early foul difficulty.
You see a little bit of the offensive philosophy there of New York against the Chicago defense. Get it in, get it up quickly so that we have more time to operate in the half-court area.
They double up on Pippen. Jordan for 3. Michael Jordan, during the course of this season, has not shot well at Madison Square Garden. In the past, he's had some enormous games. Smith with a nice move. The Knicks 5, the Bulls 2. Minute and a half gone by. Starks guarding Jordan once again, although Jordan expects that he will see a bit of Doc Rivers. Here's Cartwright. So Bill Cartwright, the one-time Knick, able to connect. He was 0 for 4 in 32 minutes on Monday in Chicago.
Bill Cartwright is a guy who has been out there, hasn't gotten big numbers, but has still done a very good job of keeping his body, fighting Patrick Ewing down the low post there. He's really the only guy that can command any respect at all from Patrick Ewing. The other people, the Purdue's, the Stacey Kings, he just kind of overpowers them.
Well, Charles Smith can be an adventure handling the ball, particularly against the press. Very fortunate to get it down. Oakley pulling up, avoiding the travel, and he's given the Knicks a 7-4 lead.
Next adjustment you see by New York. They have Starks behind the front line of Chicago's defense, so he's an attack man and can go right at the basket with numbers 3 against 2.
Horace Grant telling us earlier that the sprained ankle feeling better and better. He had an excellent game in Game 4 Monday. Oakley goes all the way, and he was pushed. Very unusual to see Oakley on the move with the ball. The foul committed by Grant is first, and Oakley will go to the line.
After Chicago had scored, New York was bringing the ball up the floor. Charles Oakley had to take it out of bounds. That was supposed to be Charles Smith's responsibility. He's supposed to pass it in and then drag behind so that he can get a return pass. Oakley had to take it out. He had a few words to Charles Smith as he came up the floor, reminding him, get the ball out of bounds. That's supposed to be your job. Everybody has to get in their right places to attack the pressure defense. And in fact, last game, we saw a little incident between Pat Riley and Anthony Mason where they weren't in the right spots or attacking it the right way. And that's all Riley was reminding him of, was what he wanted him to do against the press.
The Knicks 8 and the Bulls 6. We're just underway. It's Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Final. The series tied at 2. Game 6 in Chicago Friday night. Scottie Pippen took a good shot. The basket counts and the foul. So Pippen will go to the line. Foul committed by Smith.
A little adjustment. They make Michael Jordan, the Bulls, the flash man. He catches the pass flashing high, and Pippen winds up running the back door. Not too often that you see Jordan and Pippen on the same side running the flash post backdoor series, but another little adjustment that takes place on the day off between games.
Scottie Pippen hit that enormous shot in the final minutes on Monday. Ended up as a 3-point play. And Again, the Knicks beat the press. Charles Oakley showing another move out of the repertoire.
And you can see Charles Smith take it out of bounds, get to his spot. That allowed Ewing and Oakley and Starks to get down the floor, and New York to get into its attack mode.
And an official timeout. Looked like Charles Oakley drew blood. Nick trainer Mike Saunders out to take a look.
And he will have to be taken out of the basketball game, or New York will have to take a timeout. They are allowed to substitute for him. He must go out because of the new blood rule in the NBA. Cut must be cleaned up and closed up. Oakley with the finish at the end of the fast break, and the little collision right there is where the cut is opened up as he goes into Bill Cartwright. He turns to go up the floor. They meet heads. Similar to the headbutting incident with the Indiana team between Starks and Reggie Miller, but one was on purpose, this was not.
Charles Oakley has scored the Knicks' last 5 points. The Knicks lead 10-9, and Mike Mathis with the call against New York. A holding foul. It's on Patrick Ewing. That is his first.
I'm sure Pat Riley will have no complaint about that call, providing it's the same way at the other end of the floor when Ewing is posting up and Cartwright has a body all over him.
And another call away from the ball. Doc Rivers not pleased. It's a hold on Rivers. That is his first, and the Knicks have picked up team foul number 4. Mason. And you can see that Michael Jordan is intent on distributing the ball.
Little 3-man weave, something they worked on about 4 or 5 days ago in practice, just pulling it out now this evening.
Oh, good move by Cartwright, his second field goal. He has only 3 field goals the entire series, but he's hit 2 here in the early going. The Bulls lead by 1. Strong move by Smith, and the Knicks have hit their first 5 shots. They lead 12-11 with 4 minutes gone by. The alley-oop to perfection. Jordan leading Pippen, the Bulls by 1.
Scottie Pippen was getting ready to come off a weak side screen down. Charles Smith tried to overplay it, change direction, lob pass.
Good hands, Jordan with the deflection leading to the turnover. Isolate the right side. Jordan gives it up to Pippen. Scottie Pippen has hit 3 out of 3, and Chicago has a 15-12 lead. Hot shooting at the start. Bulls 7 for 9. The Knicks 5 for 5. And Ewing, as he makes his move, that won't count. We hear the whistle. Illegal defense called for the first time against Chicago.
A different Michael Jordan coming out here in Game 5. The assist man first on the backdoor cut by Pippen, the lob to the basket, and then on a slice cut from the offside down the lane. Again, Jordan to Pippen for the score. So we have Michael, the quarterback, out here in the beginning of the game.
Starks, and the Knicks with their first miss. Knocked away from Smith, recovered by Ewing. Here's Starks to the hoop. Bulls 15. The Knicks 14. Rivers batted it away. Starks off the steal. 2-on-1. Starks whips by Jordan. The Knicks lead by 1. Defense. Bulls have hit their last 6. Armstrong. Rebound Mason. Starks on the move. For Mason. The Knicks 18. The Bulls 15, and the Knicks are running effectively.
I'm just going to say that I don't know the last time I've seen New York get this many transition scores in such a short period of time.
6 unanswered points by the Knicks. Jordan with the crossover. Jordan, yes. Michael Jordan with his first field goal. He's 1 for 3. The Knicks 18 and the Bulls 17. A blazing start for both clubs. Starks for 3. Yes. The Knicks 20, the Bulls 17.
You had a feeling that the dunk just might energize John Starks to get him on a roll. It seems to happen so far.
Jordan changed his mind. Armstrong passed on the three. Oh, nice recovery by Pippen. Scottie Pippen is hit 4 out of 4. He has 9 points. The Knicks 20 and the Bulls 19 in a high-scoring first quarter. 5:20 remaining. Ewing passing out off the double team. Anthony Mason breaking for the hoop and taking that pass from Patrick Ewing.
You have an unselfish big man. He likes when the team sends cutters down the lane. It makes it easy for him to operate. All he's got to do is give it up a couple times, keeps his teammates happy, and then will open it up for himself.
Grant posting. Grant with the turnaround. Yes, the Knicks 22 and the Bulls 21. The Knicks have hit 10 of their last 11. They've hit 5 in a row. Here comes Charles Oakley returning from the dressing room after drawing blood earlier. Charles was hot when he departed. Pippen with the hesitation dribble. Lost it. Recovered by Grant. And Horace Grant lays it home. So the Bulls with a 23-22 lead.
Everybody has had a little piece of the action. The only player not to score that's on the floor right now is Doc Rivers. The other 9 players have all got to score so far.
Ewing put it on the floor, and it cost Armstrong with the breakaway. The Bulls 25, the Knicks 22 with 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter, and a timeout taken by the Knicks.
Transition scores for New York so important against the Chicago defense. John Starks takes it to the basket, elevates up, and then the finish again with a little emphasis.
Madison Square Garden, Hannah Storm courtside with a report on the injury to the Knicks' Charles Oakley. Charles has a 1.5 to 2 inch cut over his left forehead. He was treated by Dr. Norman Scott. It did not require stitches. The cut is being held together with adhesive strips, and Charles has just come back into the ballgame. Now let's go over to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Hannah, if you've ever wondered if there's any strategy in what basket a team decides to take, well, Phil Jackson told me that normally they like to defend the basket in front of the bench in the second half unless they want to jumpstart their offense. And if they want to do that, they'll have the basket in front of their team. The only thing is the Bulls have jump-started their offense, but so have the Knicks. Marv?
All right, Ahmad, do you buy that philosophy, Czar?
All coaches will do it a little bit differently, but the visiting team has choice of which basket. A lot of times, the visiting coach will let the home team go out on the floor, see which basket they want, then send his team out and tell them to take that basket, so they got to walk down the other end to warm up. I used to like to have the defense in front of me at the end of the game.
Sizzling start by both teams. Ewing to the fadeaway, and the rebound is handled by Pippen. The Bulls 25, the Knicks 22 with 3:45 to go in this first quarter. Michael Jordan is now 1 for 4. Mike, in contrast to what we saw in games 3 and 4 in Chicago, Starks diving for it and took a timeout. Good play by John Starks using the 20. The Knicks are not laboring to get shots off. We saw that in games 3 and 4 where they would set up for the shot with about 8-7 seconds remaining on the 24.
And what's interesting now is of the 12 field goals for New York, none of them have come with less than 10 seconds on the 24-second clock when they really struggled to get one off in Chicago.
Well, game 5 of this Eastern Conference Finals is tied at the 2 coming in. It has been a tremendous start by both clubs. Game 1 starts with 25 here at the Garden. Knicks 198-90. Charles Oakley had the big one in game 2. 14 points, 16 rebounds, leading to that Knick win. But things did turn around in Chicago. The trapping press of the Bulls so effective in game 3. Jordan only 3 for 18, but had 11 assists. And then it was Michael with 54 points on Monday afternoon. Most points ever scored in the playoffs against a Knick team. 54 points on 18 for 30 from the field. Rivers, who has been quiet the last 2 games. Now the Bulls looked like they were going to run, and, well, a violation called on Michael Jordan. It's so rare to see that. A palm called by the outside official, Hugh Hollins.
That's a tough one to call. Coming in transition, Michael tries to change over right to left. The dribble gets up high. He actually lost control of it and turned it over as he tried to cross. The loss of control is what eventually caused the violation.
And no argument from Michael Jordan. Knicks with the ball. They're down by 3. 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Rivers with a beautiful pass. Good look to find Mason.
That score came with 4 seconds remaining on the 24-second clock. It's the first time that the Bulls defense extended the New York offense, made them work to get a good shot.
Chicago with a 1-point lead. Cartwright has come out shooting. Rebound Starks. Oakley played on a switch momentarily by Jordan. Now Grant gets back. Oakley. Pippen picked up on a switch by Starks. Oakley guarding Jordan. And the foul is called. It's on Starks. That's his first. Phil Jackson calls for time with 2 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Incident involving Pat Riley and Anthony Mason that took place Monday afternoon in Chicago. Explosive moments reacting to this play. Explosive moments on the Knicks sideline with Pat Riley apparently upset with Mason. Earlier we asked Pat about it.
What happened had nothing to do with Mace personally. It was a very emotional time in the game, and I was trying to clarify a point with some intensity because I had tried to clarify it for 16 minutes to everybody. And that is to hit ahead and to hit ahead and to hit ahead. If we don't pass ahead on their press, then we're not giving ourselves an opportunity to attack. There just happened to be a man ahead wide open for a layup. I grabbed his number to show Mace what it was, number 54. It was Charles Smith, so he could see his number, and that was the extent of it. But there was nothing to it.
And we've seen what Pat Riley's talking about, hit ahead in the first quarter when New York pitched over the top of the Chicago press, and Oakley wound up finishing off with a dunk. Rather than dribble it up, Riley wanted him to pass it ahead. They got the message, obviously, here in the first quarter.
It's been a strong start for Anthony Mason to just haul down that rebound. He's hit 3 out of 3 for 6 points. Oakley from Ewing. He blew the layup. Good dish off again by Ewing on the double team. Here's Pippen going all the way. And the Bulls lead 27-24. Well, Phil Jackson felt that Starks had stepped out. 1:35 remaining in this first quarter. The Knicks have missed 5 of the last 6 shots. They opened up hitting 10 of 11, and a foul is called. Ewing took the shot. Foul committed by Cartwright. It is a non-shooting foul. Mason will inbound. Rivers and Starks at the guards. Oakley, Mason, Ewing up front. Here's Ewing. That's his first field goal. The Knicks trail 27-26.
Patrick Ewing is doing a very good job of delivering a little subtle blow to Cartwright's body, get him off just as he receives the basketball.
Michael Jordan with his second field goal. He's 2 out of 5 for 4. Bulls by 3 with just under 1 minute to go in this opening quarter. Good possession by Oakley. Oakley able to retrieve it. For 3, way off, handled by Oakley, and again missed on a putback, and a foul is called. Charles digging hard, but he's missed several close-in opportunities. Horace Grant picked up his second.
Let's go back to a moment ago when the Knicks concentrating on getting the ball down inside to their star, Patrick Ewing. He has to work hard to catch it on the block, but that time caught it in rhythm, was able to turn baseline. And when he gets that rhythm down and turns that way, he has a beautiful stroke and produces baskets most times.
Marco Blackman has just checked in. Oakley now 1 out of 3 from the line. Blackman Blackman played only a couple of minutes on Monday. And here comes Trent Tucker along with Scott Williams. B.J. Armstrong and Horace Grant will sit down.
We've noticed that Charles Oakley has missed 2 layups inside already. You might be sitting there saying, how can you miss those layups that way? He's not a guy that elevates and gets high up off the ground. He doesn't necessarily play above the rim. He plays with a strong body, keeps people off the glass by boxing them out. And many times, because he doesn't jump as well, he's concerned about shots getting blocked or distorted by bigger people that get up higher.
Michael Jordan not able to hit. John Starks with the rebound. And Pat Riley wants to use the clock. There is a 4-second differential between the game clock and the 24. The Knicks have missed 8 of their last 10 shots following the good start. Well, Starks saw the opening. He is fouled. Scott Williams, who just came on, committed the personal.
The idea behind the New York defense, play him straight up unless he gets to an area of the floor where you feel you're threatened. That time, in the middle of the floor, Blackman didn't feel threatened, so everybody stayed at home. Jordan winds up missing. To try and wind down at the end of the quarter, Starks came off a high pick and roll, got in the lane. No easy scores in playoff basketball. So when you go up to the rim, big men usually try and send either you or the ball back down.
Phil Jackson in the offensive-defensive shuffle. Pulling out Cartwright and Williams. John Paxson comes on for the first time. B.J. Armstrong returns. Greg Anthony checks in for the Knicks, along with Charles Smith. 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. The Bulls have a 1-point lead. Starks gets set to shoot a second free throw. Just under 80% from the line for the season. John Starks off to the good start. He's hit 3 out of 5, 7 points in all.
5 3-point shooters on the floor now for Chicago. So if somebody penetrates and kicks out, you got people with range on the floor.
Final seconds of the quarter. Jordan putting the move on Anthony, and he was fouled. With 3 3/10 seconds to go. Fouled by his good friend Greg Anthony. Michael has vowed to deal a payment to Greg sometime down the road. He said off the court. Did not appreciate a couple of incidents. One last year, one during this series.
He didn't really mean it. He just doesn't want Greg to sleep well at night. He wants him thinking about it. Maybe keeping one eye open at night.
Number 42, Scott Williams, replaces A.J. Armstrong and Trent Tucker.
And the shuffling continues. Scott Williams is back. Will Perdue comes on for the first time.
Most teams have special plays to go full court with 5-4, 3 seconds remaining. We'll see what New York has.
Bulls by 3. Pressure by the Bulls. Blackman is called for steps. Rolando Blackman called for the travel. And the ball comes back to Chicago.
New York tried to run a little dummy play that time. They faked as if they wanted the first pass to go to Greg Anthony. Flashed the man back on the opposite side from half court. Used him as the first release pass and then tried to backdoor Anthony down the floor. But as Blackman caught it, he took steps before he put it down.
Pippen will throw in. 1 and 8/10 seconds to go. Here's Jordan. What a play to get it to Williams, but he could not hit. Well, Scottie Pippen with a terrific opening quarter. He was only 4 for 14 in game 4, though he hit that big shot in the final minutes. Remember the 10 for 12 in game 3? Well, he has started out 5 for 5 from the field, leading the way with 11. The Bulls by 3 after 1. For the years as a member of the New York Knicks, Phil Jackson was a very popular player here in New York. In fact, he was a member of the 73 Knicks championship squad, but recent years as coach of the Bulls, he has been treated differently. And I talked about that with Phil earlier, and I asked, what's the worst that you have been called here at Madison Square Garden?
I guess the whiner, don't be a crybaby, quit complaining to the referees, sit down, shut up, you know, those kind of things, comments when you get up and, you know, get supportive of the team or come to the team's defense. Those are the things that, and the derogative things that can follow behind that.
And I was at home with your wife. I mean, here, I think.
Thank you.
Little attempt at mirth, Czar.
Very nice of Phil to clean it up for us as to what the worst things were that he heard. No, there are a few more things that he's heard. He just didn't use them.
Yes, he has been the subject of the back page of several New York tabloids the last week or so. Here's Paxson opening up the second quarter. Mason on the rebound. The Bulls 31, the Knicks 28. Knicks cooling off after the fast start. They open up 10 of 11 from the field finish, but 2 of 10. Patrick Ewing with his second bucket. He has 5, and the Bulls now lead by 1. Michael Jordan with 5 assists. Look out as he is fouled. 5 assists in the first quarter, but only 2 field goals. 2 out of 6 from the field. Was the question coming in, would it be Michael the shooter or Michael the playmaker coming into tonight? Looks like he is looking to dish it off, at least at the start.
You got to have a very strong will and a very big heart when you go down the lane against the New York Knicks, because between Mason and Smith and Ewing that are out there, once you get close to that colored area, the blue area, the painted area on the floor, their instructions are close it down. You don't let anyone get to the front of the rim. So when you start down there, you got to have some toughness about you if you're going to try and finish against them.
Well, the only member of the media to be on speaking terms with Michael Jordan the last few days, Ahmad Rashad, apparently had a quasi-chat earlier on the subject of would he be a playmaker or a scorer tonight. Ahmad, do you have some words for us?
Yes, I do, Marv. He said that he hoped he didn't have to score 54 points. The only goal he had in mind was to try to get 10 assists. Marv?
All right, well, he has 5 assists to this point. The Bulls, without including the Jordan stats, as Ewing is fouled, the basket counts. And Ewing will go to the line. The Bulls are 12 for 17 without Michael Jordan.
I had mentioned earlier that Patrick Ewing has respect for only one guy, Bill Cartwright. Anybody else, he just basically knocks out of his way, throws Purdue down on the floor, steps on him once or twice, still goes up and gets a score. He knows that he can overpower all the backup people behind Bill Cartwright. So for Phil Jackson, Chicago, that's why it's so important to be able to have Cartwright out on the floor 30-plus minutes against the Knicks.
Scott Williams picked up the foul, his second. The Knicks and the Bulls are tied at 33. Here's pressure from Smith on the ball as Tucker moves it across. Tucker, Paxson, and Jordan in a 3-guard setup along with Purdue and King. Blackman is guarding Jordan. Smith with the rebound. So Michael is 2 for 7. Inside, will it count? Mike Mathis says no. The foul before the 3-second violation. So Chicago will get it back.
Patrick Ewing had run out in transition, was way ahead of Will Purdue, so Stacey King wound up picking him up. They battled in the lane while Ewing tried to hold him on his back and get the pass. But as we mentioned earlier, if you don't get it to him at just the right time, then it becomes distorted.
Tied at 33. Shot clock out of 2, out of 1. And once again a palm called on Jordan. Second palming violation by Michael Jordan.
Let's give a little credit to Rolando Blackman for doing a good job of keeping Jordan in front of him, and then as he tries to get down to that left baseline, he loses control of the ball, a turnover.
Third turnover for Chicago, all 3 by Jordan. Knicks with 4 turnovers. Scottie Pippen will check in. Pippen for Tucker, who just committed that foul. Bulls was their second team foul. Smith, Ewing, and Mason now on that Knick front line. Anthony and Blackman in the backcourt. Blackman, yes. has had a difficult time getting going in this series.
And because Blackman is a player that you want to run off screens, that means that if Michael Jordan is guarding as he was the last time down, Jordan's the one that's getting hit by those screens, taking just a little bit more out of Michael Jordan each time down.
Grant with the post-up. Grant with the rebound and called for a travel. 9.5 remaining. First half. The Knicks with a 2-point lead on Chicago.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. There's a star-studded crowd here this evening. And joining me now is Mr. Bill Murray, and I can see that you are agreeing with Michael Jordan. You're solid with Michael, and you're not talking to the press, I hear.
That's right, Ahmad. I'm not going to do any interviews. I'm not going to appear in public. I'm just going to be very quiet about everything. I'm just going to let my fanmanship tell the story tonight.
Well, I understand that you're also very much a Bulls fan. You're dressed in the red and the black this evening, showing that you're very much a Bulls fan here.
Well, they weren't going to let me in, but I had a lawyer with me. He wasn't really a lawyer, but he said he was, and so they let us in. It was close, but there was a guy from the mayor's office who made me sign something that said I have to appear at Tavern in the Green and sign autographs for the rest of the year. We'll say I love New York and stuff.
Well, good luck with that, Bill, and good luck with your continuing to not talk to the press.
No hard feelings, Uncle Much.
Okay, have a good time. All right, back to you, Marv.
All right, Ahmad. Hysterical material, I thought, huh? Bill and Ahmad. The Bulls have missed 5 straight, 8 of their last 10. The Knicks in the midst of a 5-0 run. And the Knicks with a 35-33 lead. Mason to the crossover. And he is fouled.
Mason having the ability with his size and strength to put the ball on the floors has been one of the keys for New York to, 1, beat the press by Chicago, 2, that once they get up into the half-court area and the first and second option are taken away, at least he can break your defense down by putting it on the floor. That's why Pat Riley has to have him out there X number of minutes each night.
Horace Grant departing after picking up his third. Scottie Pippen raising his hand to try and draw the foul. Once again, Anthony Mason with the creative haircut. The mace. Apparently an M carved on his left eyebrow. The Knicks with a 35-33 lead. Paxson and Tucker now in the backcourt. Williams with King and Pippen up front. So Pippen is running the team. Shot clock at 8. Shot clock at 5. Stacey King. Very difficult shot. It was altered by Patrick Ewing.
Excellent half-court defense that time by the New York Knicks. In the end, the floating hook shot by Stacey, challenged by Ewing, no good.
And a foul on King, a push for the Bulls. It is their 4th team foul.
Trying to clean up that post play. If you wrap your hand around the waist of the offensive player and impede his progress, the ability to move away, it's going to be called a foul.
Michael Jordan getting a rest at this point. Ewing is fouled again. Hacked by King. And that also puts the Bulls over the limit. Ewing will go to the line. He was fouled in the act.
Every coach wants you to challenge a jump shot, but they don't want you to foul jump shooters. Challenge the shot, get a hand up on the basketball, but don't foul jump shooters, because good free throw shooters shoot 80 plus from the foul line. Good jump shooters shoot 50% from the floor. So make them a 50% shooter rather than an 80% shooter in trying to earn those 2 points.
And Patrick Ewing has been an erratic free throw shooter this season. Here's Bill Cartwright back. Stacey King will sit down. Ewing 72% from the line. The Knicks are only 5 of 12 at the free throw line. They have not been a good foul shooting team. Same for Chicago. Pippen with the rebound. The Bulls have not hit a field goal the last 4.5 minutes.
And Phil Jackson went with this smaller lineup in both games in Chicago, and it produced baskets for him. It was effective. Here thus far, they have really struggled offensively.
Anthony able to hustle it down. Anthony getting it down, going all the way. He surprised the Bulls. The Knicks 37, the Bulls 33 with 4 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Good defense by Blackman. Pippen. Fouled by Smith. Bulls have missed their last 7 shots. 10 of their last 12. Smith committing his second. Pippen will go to the line. Scottie Pippen is at 5 out of 6. 11 points in all. Scottie bothered throughout the season by tendonitis in his right ankle. The same injury that plagued him against the Knicks in last year's playoffs. For the season, average 18.6. He's upped it here in the playoffs, shooting just under 51% and averaging just under 21 per game. Receiving the treatment from the crowd as he misses on both. Anthony pops it down. Smith was hanging, and he's fouled. Foul committed by Pippen. That is his first. In the second quarter, the Knicks are 4 of 4 from the field. They opened hot at the start and then had their problems. Chicago 0 for 5 from the field, and Michael Jordan is getting set to make his return.
There had been a little bit of a stir caused by one of Pat Riley's statements concerning the number of free throw attempts, basically, that his team was getting a chance to shoot, number of fouls called against New York as versus what's called against Chicago. Coming into this the 5th game after the first 4 in this series, the Bulls had taken 17 more free throws, about 4 more a game. Right now, at this point in the game, New York has been to the free throw line. This will be their 15th attempt. Chicago only 7.
The Knicks with 9 consecutive points. They lead by 6. It is their biggest lead of the night. 7:35 remaining. First half. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, and Hannah Storm from Madison Square Garden in New York. Jordan off the fake, trying to squeeze his way, and he drew the foul.
Every time Michael Jordan gets to the blue, at least 1, sometimes 2 other bodies besides the man that's guarding him are instructed close it down. Blackman's got him. Now watch. 1, 2, 3 other bodies that time come at Michael Jordan, try and turn him into a passer rather than a scorer.
This call for his second foul. Whistles are going here in the first half as Oakley picks up his first. The Bulls already over the limit. The Knicks with their 4th team foul. It's been a long time between field goals for Chicago. 0 for the last 7. That dates back to the first quarter. They've gone 6 minutes without a field goal. They doubled up on Jordan momentarily. Jordan one-on-one with Blackman. Yes. Michael Jordan is now 3 of 8. He has 10 points.
The one thing Blackman did not want him to do, he kept that arm extended. In fact, he even poked Jordan in the face just before he went up for the shot. He was trying to force him to put it down on the floor. With the foot fakes, the ball fakes, he could not get him to do it.
Anthony. And an offensive foul is called. They wave it off. Foul on Smith. That is his 3rd. Once again, Charles Smith in foul trouble.
In that guard around type of instance where the small man Anthony is trying to turn the corner, Smith steps out, and in the official's opinion, it came late. If it comes that late and the defense doesn't have a chance and react to it and avoid it, then they're going to call the offensive foul.
6:42 remaining. First half. Timeout call. The Knicks lead by 4.
Square Garden, Phil Jackson made headlines criticizing the officiating in this series last week. This week, in fact, today, it was Pat Riley upset with the referees after the Bulls went to the line 23 more times than the Knicks did in Chicago. Riley Riley felt that some of the calls in Game 4 robbed his team of some of its confidence, and he expected the officiating to be more consistent tonight at Madison Square Garden. As for the players, they said at this point they can't afford to worry about the referees. Marv?
All right, Hannah, yes, Phil and Pat playing their little games as you did as a head man with the Atlanta Hawks, but I could see you really getting on their nerves. Without question, there would be problems with your posture.
On whose nerves?
Pick a number. The Knicks 39 and the Bulls 35 with 6:25 remaining in the first half. Shot clock down to 3. Jordan. Rebounded by Blackman, but a loose ball foul is called. Cartwright was pushed. Blackman collects his third. Charles Smith sitting down after picking up 3, and he has had all kinds of foul difficulties. 3, 4, 4, 2. The 2 were early in Game 4, and he's out it for the half after picking up his third. Bill Cartwright to the line with both clubs now over the foul limit.
In that last timeout, Ahmad overheard Phil Jackson telling the team how happy he really was with the fact that they were this close in the game when they had only scored 4 points here in basically the first 6 minutes after scoring 31 in the first quarter, and felt that if they could just withstand this rush by New York, that they'd get themselves right back in it again. They'd get back into the flow of the offense. So he took a real positive approach in the last time out with him.
Well, here are the Bulls only 2 down with the Knicks shooting 64%, 16 for 25, and hit 4 to 4 in the second quarter. Anthony handling the trap and handling it well. Deflected out, says Ed Rush by Chicago. So the Knicks with 10 on the 24.
New York trying to get the ball to Ewing a little more quickly in the half-court set, knowing the double team's going to come, anticipating he may have to throw it out, but then have time to get it back. And Ewing makes an incredible shot off 1 foot, kind of looking across his body that time.
10 points for Ewing. The Knicks lead 41-37. The Knicks have hit on 5 out of 5 from the field here in the second, while the Bulls have struggled, only 1 for 7. Cartwright, yes. Bill Cartwright has hit 3 out of 4. He has 8 points. Did not convert a field goal at all on Monday in Chicago.
In the 2 wins in Chicago, games 3 and 4, at halftime, Chicago had 62 and 61 points, respectively. At the end of the first quarter here tonight, they had 31, well on their way. But now, as Ewing hits another turnaround, but now with just over 5 minutes remaining, they're at 39. This is the Knicks tempo that they want, their style of play.
And we're seeing the Patrick Ewing that we saw in games 1 and 2 in New York. Jordan changed his mind, Cartwright, yes, and it counts. Bill Cartwright going to the hoop, taking that pass from Jordan. What a recovery by Jordan. Ewing called for the foul, his second.
Say it's tough for right-handed quarterbacks to sprint out left and throw back right. Well, it's tough for 7-footers to dribble left and shoot back to the right as they come across the lane. Ewing down in the low post area, gives a fake one way, comes back the other way, and then again, likes turning baseline for that quick look.
Lazar showing his football background.
Ahmad told me that one time. He mentioned that about quarterbacks sprinting out and that type of thing.
Bill Cartwright, his first 4 games, 1 for 10 from the field, and here in Game 5, 4 out of 5. The Knicks by 1 as Mason is able to penetrate, and he was fouled.
New York's 25 field goals that they had, only 1 came with under 5 seconds, only 2 under 10 seconds. They're in their attack mode. When you have players that can put it on the floor, break down a defense and penetrate, you're going to cause a lot of problems for the other team's defense, and that's what New York has done here in the first half.
Mason with 9 points. The foul on Scott Williams, his third. The Knicks have hit all 7 field goal attempts in the second quarter. They now lead it 46-42. Jordan feeling around for Starks. Jordan. Well, he's off in this first half. Starks puts the move on Armstrong. Was hit on the reach in. That won't count. John Starks will make his way to the free throw line. Looks like he is limping. Foul committed by B.J. Armstrong. John Starks with the strong move, and he came up hobbling. John Starks, a remarkable story. His path to the NBA, not your usual saga. In many ways, a basketball survivor. He has become a star. At one time during his college days, he was bagging groceries in Tulsa. Attended 4 different colleges. Spent some time with Golden State, the CBA, and began to emerge last season with the Knicks. Timeout has been called with 4:32 remaining, first half.
On the Prudential halftime report, we'll look ahead to Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals between Phoenix and Seattle. The Suns took Game 5 last night behind the record-setting performance of Dan Marley, who hit 8 3-pointers. We'll talk live with Marley. There he is standing by. And we'll also talk live with Sonics head coach George Karl. Plus, we'll update you on today's action at the French Open, where the men's #1 seed Pete Sampras lost in the quarterfinals. That's all coming up at halftime. Right now, let's head back downtown to the Garden and rejoin Marvin Mike. Marvelous.
All right, Bob. What a show put on last night by the combination of Charles Barkley and Dan Marley. And that series continues here on NBC tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. John Starks getting set to shoot his second from the line. Look at that stat. The Knicks are shooting. That's an ugly statistic from the Knicks point of view. Knicks shooting better from the field than they are at the foul line, where they're 8 for 17 from the line.
And as we've mentioned a couple times, both these teams not real good at the free throw line, finishing 21st and 22nd. New York just ahead of Chicago during the regular season in free throw percentage.
Meanwhile, the Knicks have hit all 7 shots they've attempted here in the second quarter. Their last miss goes back to late in the first quarter with 42 seconds remaining. Knicks lead by 5 points. We come up on 4 minutes to go. First half. Here's Armstrong. Rebound Williams. Scott Williams with a nice move and then hooked it home to bring the Bulls within 3. Scott Williams with his first field goal. Anthony now handling against Armstrong. Anthony and Starks in the backcourt. Ewing, Mason, Oakley up front. Anthony picked up on a switch. Shoots over Cartwright and hits. Greg Anthony, not the man the Knicks want to shoot from the outside, but he'll surprise you from time to time, and he went right at Bill Cartwright with the jump shot.
And with Doc Rivers sitting, Anthony has done a very good job coming in, getting a couple easy scores for his team by pushing the basketball, and then hitting a big jump shot and keeping pressure on the ball.
Jordan played very well by Starks, and a pushing foul on Oakley. Oakley claims that he was held, but he shoved Williams.
We mentioned in the open the body-on-body contact that Cartwright has been put on Ewing. Well, since Cartwright has asserted himself offensively, he's made Ewing work hard down low. He's got Cartwright way off the block, causes the fumble, and as a result, Cartwright has to pass it back out, gets no shot attempt. So Ewing doing a very good job of playing position defense, not letting the ball get into the post easily.
Scott Williams in his 3rd year out of North Carolina. He was asked about the Game 4 explosion by Michael Jordan. Well, he said North Carolina Tar Heels combined for 55 points in game number 4.
He was part of that.
That was a very interesting point of view. How about Hundley when playing with Elgin Baylor, when Baylor would have these astronomical scoring nights, would use the same joke line. Here's Anthony. Well, Greg Anthony makes it 9 for 9 for the Knicks in the second quarter. They lead 51-45. Michael Jordan is only 3 for 11. Cartwright has had the hot hand. Shot clock runs down to 3. Cartwright. Well, Bill Cartwright has had a number of excellent games on this court, usually as a member of the New York Knicks in his earlier days in the NBA, and he has looked like the Cartwright of the early going of his career. 5 out of 6, 13 points for Cartwright. Starks fires. First Knick miss of the quarter. And the Bulls on the run. Pippen all the way. A facial served up at John Starks.
When you take long shots from the perimeter and they don't go in with a team like Chicago that changes ends so well from defense to offense, what usually happens is you get outnumbered running back in transition defense. That's what took place last time down.
The Bulls within 2. Cartwright called for the foul as Ewing is sent flying. Crowd wants a flagrant.
Let's go back to the original battle last trip down when the 2 big men were working down low inside. Cartwright all over Ewing, not trying to let him get the spot he wants, trying to duck underneath him. Ewing keeping that arm in his face the whole time. It's just been a battle the entire evening between them. Now this time down, when he gets in the air, Cartwright knows he's in trouble, so he just tries to stop the shot attempt. The officials feel that since the momentum of the foul, the follow-through of the arm caused Ewing to land and hit the ground, that they had to call a flagrant foul.
So Patrick Ewing will have 2 shots. The Bulls arguing that it was a borderline flagrant foul call.
And I would agree, it is a borderline, but when you place an official in the position of where he has to make a decision, then you got to live with it. Is this with intent to hurt Patrick Ewing? No, it's not. But it's a combination of he's off balance, you put your arm on him, you bring your arm down, he falls to the ground, and then the understanding that it could potentially be a volatile situation here. They call the flagrant to try and keep it under control.
The Knicks now lead 53-49. So Ewing hits on both. He now has 14. Just under 2 minutes remaining first half. Ewing with a beautiful spin. And a foul is called. Cartwright called for his 3rd. Both the Knicks and the Bulls are over the limit. Bill Cartwright will head to the bench. Superb half for Cartwright. 5 out of 6 from the field. 13 points. Ewing back to the line. He is 4 of 7 from the line. The Knicks have won 27 straight here at Madison Square Garden. The last time they lost at home was back on the 28th of January. The last team to beat the Knicks at the Garden, the Atlanta Hawks, January 28th. They won 20 straight in the regular season, then 7 out of 7 at home during the playoffs. And the Knicks have won the last 6 over the Bulls here at the Garden. Knicks by 5. Minute 35 remaining in the first half. Good luck. Scott Williams for Stacey King. And the Knicks lead is now 3. Very quiet first half offensively for Michael Jordan. That's an offensive foul. Oakley picks up his 3rd. Jordan only 3 of 11, but he does have 7 assists.
Now, this is something Oakley used to do in the pre-Riley days. Out of control. No reason for this. Where you going, Charles? Stay under control. Greg Anthony had a little remark for him about get the ball back out and let us get into our plays. You want players to do what their strengths are. Do what you're capable of doing. Don't try and do somebody else's job if you're not good at it, because what happens? You turn the ball over.
Patrick Ewing will sit down, a rare appearance for Herb Williams. Minute 10 left in the half. Pippen. Scottie Pippen hits the side angle jump shot. He's 7 of 8. He has 15, and the Knicks now lead by 1. Knicks have led by as many as 6 points. They have hit 9 of 10 from the field here in the second quarter. Starks way off. Anthony recovers. Anthony for Mason. Greg Anthony has done an excellent job. Mason has 11. The Knicks lead by 3. And as you said before, Mike, Phil Jackson has to be very happy that his club is within 3 the way the Knicks have been shooting, although they have hurt themselves at the foul line. Half minute to go in the first half. Bob Costas and the Prudential halftime report coming up. Jordan. And it's tipped home. Beautiful tip. Scottie Pippen gets credit, and he brings the Bulls within one.
The ability to realize and understand where you are at all times. Pippen knew he had no time to come back down and go up again without getting it blocked. So while he's in it, back to the basket, he tips it in.
Anthony turned it over. Final seconds of the quarter. Here's King. Pippen checked the clock. Gets it off. That's the end of the first half. The Knicks with a 56-55 lead on the Bulls. Bob Costas coming up back at our studio some 15 blocks away. Chicago for game number 6 on Friday night. This is game 5. The series tied at 2. Pippen tried to change direction. And the Bulls fortunate to keep the ball. Here's Jordan. Very tough off-balance shot. And it's tipped home. Good position by Horace Grant. So the Bulls now lead 57-56. Doc Rivers opens in the backcourt along with John Starks, Charles Oakley, Charles Smith, and Patrick Ewing up front.
And because Chicago didn't really get into its full court pressure a whole lot in the first half, they start out immediately after that score with some pressure.
For Doc Rivers, who has been silent the last couple of games, his first field goal tonight. And the Knicks lead by 1. Opening minute, third quarter. Jordan played straight up by Starks. Pippen guarded by Smith, who has 3 fouls. Pippen to the fadeaway. Rebound tipped by Jordan. So Michael Jordan goes inside to come up with his 4th field goal.
Scorers always find a way to get their points, whether it's in transition, whether it's a night when the shot is going down, getting to the free throw line, or in that case, getting to the offensive glass.
Here comes Pippen. Armstrong on the wing. 3 Knicks back. Pippen with the extension to beat the Knicks down, and the Bulls lead 61-58.
I think you could appreciate Scottie Pippen's ability to handle, put it on the floor, his speed and quickness. That time he showed you some strength. On the move, full speed with Smith running alongside. He held him off with that left arm to gain the advantage and keep the alleyway open to the rim.
Patrick Ewing way out. That is not what Pat Riley wants to see from Ewing on a consistent basis. Here is Armstrong, and the Bulls on a run. Now leading 63-58, and the Knicks take a 20-second timeout.
Michael Jordan realizes that he's struggling, that Scottie Pippen's got it going this particular night, so he slips after screening and just follows up, little tip in, grabs something just to get himself going. Hold off Smith with the left arm, keep that path open to the basket, and then the finish with the extension by Scottie Pippen.
Well, you get the idea that Michael Jordan has reinvented himself with each game, depending on the situation, depending on how he has been shooting, which was not very good through games 1, 2, or 3. 3 for 18 in game 3, and then in game 4, the 18 for 30 for 60%. But in game 3, although he shot 3 of 18 for 17%, he did pick up 11 assists. He has begun tonight looking to distribute the ball, but that could change depending on the game situation. Jordan now with 12 points and 8 assists, and the Bulls lead by 5. It's their biggest lead of the night. Ewing, rebounded by Grant. But the Bulls turn it over. Let's go to Ahmad.
Marv, I was talking to Michael Jordan. He was telling me the other day that this team started to smell blood. They felt like New York was starting to crack under the pressure, and they felt like it was the time for them to really put the hammer down. It was right now.
All right, Ahmad, yes, the Bulls with that 5-point lead. Ewing 0 for 3 from the field in this third quarter. The officials confer on that call. It is against Chicago. A pushing foul, says Hugh Hollins, against Bill Cartwright. So that is number 4 on Cartwright.
Chicago likes to come along the baseline with that trap rather than from the passer or from the top. Grant gets there in good position. The officials felt that the hands of Cartwright on the back waist are what forced Ewing to stumble, lose his balance, foul is called.
Stacey King replacing Bill Cartwright. Rivers trying to do it off the dribble, stripped by Armstrong. Rivers off the recovery.
You can see the determination in Doc Rivers' face. He played only 11 minutes in the first half. Greg Anthony got 12 minutes. He did a very nice job filling in for him. But Rivers has come out here understanding he's got to step up and play big for New York to win.
Pippen from deep. Yes. Scottie Pippen has had a terrific series. 21 points for Pippen. And the Bulls lead 65-60. 3 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Having difficulty now finding shots. Here's Smith getting inside. Rebound Ewing. With Cartwright on the bench, it becomes easier for Ewing. Bill Cartwright, along with his offense, he's been hitting his shot tonight, does the job in keeping Ewing off the boards. Grant lost it off his foot. It will be Nick Ball. Horace Grant upset with himself. Facing the pressure from Armstrong. Starks gets the pick. Starks fires. And rebounded by Grant. Jordan for Grant. Oh, what a beautiful play. Horace Grant reading Michael Jordan going to the hoop.
What happened was Pippen didn't realize Grant was running behind him, but Michael did. Pippen had his hands out like, give me the ball, I'm there. But there was a defensive player close enough to let Michael say, you keep running, clear it out, because I know there's somebody coming right behind you.
Pushed. So the foul is called. The hold on King.
Jordan can see that the first play of Pippen's not open, but there's the second trailer. Grant down the lane. Michael seeing the whole floor, distributing the basketball, running the show. The quarterback out here for Chicago.
Anthony Mason is back. Charles Oakley sitting down. 6 points, only 4 rebounds for Oakley. They have played evenly off the boards. Smith for Mason. Mason lost it. Jordan knocked it away, and it's last touched by Mason. So the Bulls will get it back. Anthony Mason, an excellent ball handler, rarely coughs it up, but Michael Jordan made the good play.
Let's remember that. Ahmad said Jordan told him his goal tonight was to have 10 assists. At halftime, Michael had 7.
The Chicago Bulls trying to become only the 3rd team in NBA history to three-peat. No team has won 3 consecutive titles in 26 years. King off the boards, rebounded by Ewing. Only the Minneapolis Lakers and the Boston Celtics have won 3 titles in a row. Mason gets inside. Mason with the tip. And the Bulls now lead 67-64. 5 minutes in, third quarter. Jordan called for another foul. That is extraordinary. 3rd time that Michael Jordan has been called for a palming violation. Now, you rarely see that during the regular season. Not to say that Jordan has not been palming, but I get the idea he often gets away with that move.
Let's check the record book for 3 palming calls carrying the ball in a game by Michael Jordan.
So a timeout taken with 6:47 remaining, third quarter.
Hannah Storm back in the bowels of Madison Square Garden in the Knicks tape room, along with assistant coach Bob Salmi. The Knicks, like many teams, use the coaching tactic of showing tapes at halftime. Bob, what did you guys look at?
Well, basically, we looked at what both teams shot in the first quarter, and both teams shot at unbelievable percentage in the first quarter. And you'd like to credit that to the offense, but you've got to look at how many shots were contested. Both teams contested under 32% of the shots in the first quarter, and as a result, both teams shot a great percentage. We looked at this tape at halftime, and we saw the difference. The Bulls come out and go on an 0-for-7 stretch where we're up into people, and the shot goes up, and Patrick Ewing contests the shot. The result of the contested shots results in a miss.
At this point, with the way the Bulls are shooting, Marv, perhaps the Knicks could use to apply some of those lessons they learned at the half.
All right, Hannah, the Bulls with a 3-point lead, 6:27 remaining in the third quarter. Clock at 6. Pippen. And a foul is called. Ewing. Mason combining on King. Patrick Ewing over the back of Stacey King, committing his third foul.
Actually, Stacey King did a very nice job of getting inside position. When the shot went up, he snuck inside Ewing. As Ewing turned to go for the rebound, he wound up on the inside, Ewing over the top.
Armstrong lost his balance, so the Knicks will get it back. We come up on 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ron Rashad, Hannah Storm from Madison Square Garden. Usual sellout crowd on hand, and they react to Patrick Ewing bringing the Knicks within one. John Paxson is getting set to check back in. Jordan with the pull-up, stopped by Starks. Jordan had to give it off, and Pippen finishes it off.
What an ability to realize that you're up in the air, you don't have a shot because of excellent defense, yet you still can find an open teammate for a score.
Ewing. Michael Jordan now has 11 assists. Here's Pippen. Assist number 12 for Jordan. Along with 12 points, so Michael not shooting well at 4 of 14. His stat line now resembling game number 3 in Chicago on Saturday. And the Bulls lead by 5. Good luck from Starks, and Mason not able to complete it. Anthony Mason blowing the layup. Here comes Pippen. Now Jordan. Starks continues to do a good job on Jordan. Pippen. Rebounded by Starks. Starks trying to accelerate, but Pippen stopped the ball. Smith has the open shot. The Bulls 71. The Knicks 68 with 4:35 left in the third.
They continue to play at this pace. You're going to have two very tired teams come the midway point of the fourth quarter, because it is going up and down, and they are using up all kinds of energy.
Shot clock at 3. Pippen off balance. Foul by Mason. That's the first committed by Anthony Mason.
When you're struggling, you try and get yourself going. You get there and realize, uh-oh, there's nothing for me. Well, maybe I can find something for my partner. Scottie Pippen down low. Michael Jordan with the dish off.
And Michael Jordan with that similar line to what took place Game 3 in Chicago. I don't think Phil Jackson would mind, because Game 3 was won by the Chicago Bulls. Here's Charles Oakley back. And Charles Smith will sit down, leads with 10 points. You go back over the last 10 years, 25 of the 27 teams who won Game 5 went on to win the series. Would prefer not coming back to New York for a Game 7, which would be played on Sunday here at the Garden.
You mentioned how similar the lines were between Jordan's Game 3 and what he's doing here this evening in Game 3. He also wound up with 8 rebounds, almost a triple-double after shooting 3 for 18. Here he has 5 rebounds already this evening with 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Chicago 73, New York 68. Offensive foul. Jordan is hurt. Doc Rivers, Michael Jordan in the collision. The foul called on Rivers. The Bulls trainer, Chip Schaefer, checking out Michael Jordan. A timeout has been taken.
Jordan's man had cleared away from under the basket. Michael started to go across the lane, turned, saw the ball coming at the basket, came back on a rotation. Here he absorbs the blow, and it's the right knee of Rivers that hits Jordan in the midsection, probably knocked the wind out of him. The rotation, the leg up, there he absorbs it. Many times you'll see players put their forearms in front of their waist area to try and absorb that blow. Michael had his hands straight up in the air, full contact from knee into the waist area. Come back on the rotation, pick up the offensive foul.
Michael Jordan, as we have seen time and time again, though, is so tough. He has come back from a number of injuries, and apparently he is all right. Came back from the ankle problem against Atlanta in the first round, and he will come back here.
At Madison Square Garden, you just saw Michael Jordan go down after taking that charge. He just took a shot to the stomach, knocked the wind out of him. He's okay, and as you can see, he's still back in the game. Mark?
Artemad and the Bulls with a 5-point lead, just under 4 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Crowd wanted to travel on King. Starks with the rebound. On Starks, only 3 of 8, 8 points. Starks and Rivers at the guards. Ewing, Oakley, and Mason up front. Knicks have cooled off considerably here in the third. Oh, Pippen looking to his right, thought he had a teammate, but it was the official, Hugh Hollins, and then Pippen took a pretty good shot from Mason.
Scotty had heard that Hugh Hollins was an outstanding jump shooter coming out of school, tried to pick up an assist by hitting him in the deep corner.
Now, it would have been interesting if Hugh caught the ball and took a
shot it, yeah.
Air ball, but handled by Mason. The Knicks are only 6 for 18 from the field here in the third. The Bulls 73, the Knicks 70.
Think about what a turnaround that is in the score right there. Potentially, they could have been up 7 points if they convert in transition. Now it's back to 3.
Jordan. Well, Michael Jordan, 1 for 1 since getting the wind knocked out of him. He is 5 for 15 overall for 14 points. The Bulls lead by 5. 5-point man Scottie Pippen with 27. Ewing, yes. Ewing leads the Knicks with 21 points. The Bulls by 3. It's been close throughout. In Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Final, the series is tied at 2. They'll meet again in Chicago, Game 6. On Friday night, Pippen thought he was fouled. Pippen continues the conversation with the official, Mike Mathis. Mason posting up. Mason to the fadeaway. Rebound, Pippen. Matchup is now Mason and Pippen. They saw quite a bit of each other in the playoffs a year ago. Well, Stacey King tried to get it down low to Horace Grant. It will be Nick Ball.
What Phil Jackson is complaining is that it's not out of bounds if it hits the bottom of the backboard, that they should have been allowed to catch that ball and still try to pursue a score, that it was not part of the stanchion area.
Rivers through the foul. Hit by Paxson. So Rivers will go to the free throw line.
On the quick shuffle pass, the deflection, now, does the ball hit underneath on the rubber part? No, it did hit the white support of the backboard. It's an excellent call by the officials. If it hit the rubber part underneath, then it's still okay to play on. That was part of the backboard support. It was a good call by the official. And Phil Jackson even nodded his head just now to the official. You're right, I agree.
Here's Scott Williams for John Paxson. Nice to see the telestrator back in operation. We were czarless for Game 3 Saturday in Chicago. It did not work. You were a lonely man on Saturday. Did make a fine comeback. for Game 4 on Monday.
And we're saving it for the crucial moments here in game number 5. Just at the right time. It's knowing when to use it.
Building a crescendo developing here. The Bulls by 1 with 1:25 remaining in the third quarter. Jordan went to the crossover. Michael Jordan is now 2 for 2 since he had the wind knocked out.
And that was the toughest one. Over the top of Patrick Ewing, who had switched out, extended to try and bother that jump shot, but nothing but the bottom of the net for Michael.
Rivers pass diagnosed. The end result, the steal, and the 3-on-1. Jordan was fouled. Fouled by Starks.
Using the high screen, Chicago knows that New York's going to try and jump it or traps the ball. Ewing switches out, extends, there's hand on the ball, just like the coach says, but what are you going to do when it's Michael shooting it? No question, Starks moves to his right in the path of Jordan when he's airborne. Michael at the free throw line trying to make 2. So by fouling, Starks has saved 1 point already.
Michael Jordan now 4 out of 5 from the line. He was 16 for 17 at the foul line. Game 3, 12 or 14 in Game 4. Chicago with a 78-74 lead. Just under 1 minute remaining. Third quarter. Rivers now played by Pippen. Stark started by Jordan. Gets it inside. Ewing got possession through the foul. The basket counts. The foul committed by Stacey King.
You had Doc Rivers looking very concerned out in front, trying to figure out who they wanted to go to. Nobody stepped up high to set a screen. So what they do is instead, they go to Ewing down low. He's got Stacey King 2 deep in the lane area. The foul comes on the elbow, on the shot attempt. And if you're going to foul, you better foul a little bit harder than that, or Ewing's going to keep putting him in the bottom of the basket.
Stacey King having a difficult time, as you would expect, in keeping Ewing off the blocks. 3-point play for Patrick Ewing. He has 24. The Bulls now lead by 1. Rivers went flying, and Pippen not able to hit. Here comes Mason. Mason has Ewing. Ewing went short, and back come the Bulls. Now Jordan will slow it down with 20 seconds to go in the quarter.
Just by Michael Jordan going past Patrick Ewing's head as he went in for the shot attempt, and the respect Ewing has for his jumping ability and shot blocking ability. He lost concentration, didn't extend, missed the shot.
Jordan with the hesitation. Yes! Michael Jordan has given the Bulls an 80-77 lead. Final seconds of the quarter. Starks for 3 at the buzzer. So after 3, the Bulls 80 and the Knicks 77.
And you can tell Michael Jordan feels a little bit better about his jump shot right now. He escapes by using the crossover, gets the defender moving one way, crosses over, gets space, hits the shot.
Well, it's been a prime time game. We head to the fourth quarter. The Bulls with a 3-point lead. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. Yes, a major production here just off Broadway, some 10-15 blocks away. As we head to the fourth quarter of Game 5, the series is tied at 2. Chicago outscoring New York 25-21. In the third, Michael Jordan picking it up in the third quarter, 9 points, 5 assists. He's hit his last 3. Little wake-up call off that collision with Doc Rivers, had the wind knocked out, and since then he's hit 3 out of 3, 19 points and 12 assists for Michael Jordan.
We talked about the pace of this game, the energy that was being used up starting the fourth quarter. Jordan and Pippen both have 34 minutes played, with Pippen resting right now. Jordan's still on the floor. Starks and Ewing 32 minutes apiece, so it could be a 44-minute night for these guys.
Starks just did beat the 24. Mason lost it. Jordan stripped it. Ewing gets it back. And a foul is called. Bill Cartwright picks picks up his 5th. That is a huge foul call.
The NBA leader in steals, Michael Jordan. Great hands down low. The swipe, loses possession of himself as he tries to get it over there to Bill, who gets a piece of, rather, a deflection by Cartwright. As Ewing stuck his hand in, and then the foul sends Ewing to the ground.
And Cartwright is taken out. Rivers working against Paxson. John Starks has missed his last 5 shots. He's 3 for 10. Very tough defense these last couple of sequences by Chicago. Shot clock at 5. Rivers. Jordan skies for the rebound.
Perhaps knowing that Jordan's got a lot of minutes, Phil Jackson has Michael playing Anthony Mason at the defensive end of the floor, so he doesn't have to chase Starks and Rivers around screens.
Tucker, the one-time New York Knick, holds now a 3-guard setup. Big men are King and Williams. Here's Stacey King. Rebound, Scott Williams. And he's stripped by Doc Rivers. Foul is called. Chicago Bulls have really turned it up off the boards. They have been severely out-rebounded by the Knicks. Knicks plus 20 in that department, game 1, plus 11 game 2, plus 5 in game 3. Thus far today, the Bulls have out-rebounded the Knicks by 2.
A little bit of encouragement there by Johnny Starks to his teammate. Let's get after it.
Chicago with a 37-29 edge in the rebounding department. Illegal defense, that is the 2nd infraction, so it is a technical foul. And Starks will shoot the technical. That was back in game 4 that the Knicks had a +2 rebounding advantage, and as you saw, the Bulls in command off the boards here tonight.
Starks coming into this game from the foul line in the series against Chicago, just 56% from the free throw line.
Usually a very dependable foul shooter. Anthony. The Bulls by 3. That's time remaining, 4th quarter. Knicks have missed their last 5 shots. Jordan. Yes. Michael Jordan has hit his last 4. He has taken control. He's given Chicago an 82-77 advantage.
He used the momentum that time. He built up off the dribble to get him a little more spring in his legs, get up a little bit higher, and a little better look at the basket on the last jump shot for Michael Jordan.
Illegal defense called for the 3rd time against Chicago.
A hard drive, get the elevation, get up, and then get a good look at the front of the rim.
And this time Pat Riley goes to Patrick Ewing to shoot the technical. Ewing is 6 for 10. Now this gives you an idea of how bad the Knicks free throw shooting is going, because Ewing has not been dependable at the line. And they miss again on the technical opportunity. Timeout called by the Bulls. They lead it by 5.
Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Tonight's Miller Moment takes us back 2 days ago to Game 4 when Michael Jordan exploded for 54 points, 6 3-pointers to tie the series at 2-all, bringing back memories of last year's NBA Finals against Portland when in Game 1 he hit 6 3-point field goals. He was in the zone, and with a glance in the direction of our colleague Magic Johnson indicated that he could not believe it. In recognition of these moments, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. But it has been low-key tonight from 3-point range for both clubs. Chicago and New York, both 0 for 2 from downtown. Michael Jordan, incidentally, has scored the Bulls' last 9 points. He now has 21 points along with 12 assists. King with the steal. Stacey King reading that one-hop pass.
King realizing that he just can't stand behind Patrick Ewing, trying to give different looks. Earlier, had come up with a steal in the first half. Again, this time coming around in front as the pass is being delivered.
Bulls have a 5-point lead. Here's Jordan. Yes, and it counts. Fouled by John Starks. Michael Jordan is on fire.
Jordan escape dribble one time, get Starks moving hard to his left, then immediately go up, elevate. What makes him almost impossible to guard when he's got his shot going is the fact that he is 6'6", gets up so well, and gets a clean look at the front of the rim. That's what makes it tough to play.
Jordan completing the three-point play by connecting on the free throw. He's hit his last 5 shots. He has scored Chicago's last 12 points. He has taken over, and the Bulls have their biggest lead of the night. Starks with a setup for Oakley, and Ewing able to save it. Shot clock at 8. Here's Anthony. Ewing from three-point range and hits. Patrick Ewing with a desperation shot. During the regular season, he hit only 1 three-pointer, 1 for 7. Only the third of his career, 3 for 44 from three-point land. Jordan to the fadeaway. Ewing with the rebound. The Bulls with a 5-point lead, 8.5 remaining in the game. The Bulls tempting Anthony to shoot. They want to see him fire it up. Jordan knocked it away. Jordan with the steal. 3-on-1, and Jordan puts it away as Starks and Ewing collided at midcourt. The Bulls 87. The Knicks 80. The Knicks want to settle down. A timeout is called with 8:06 remaining in this fourth quarter.
What could have been the critical basket for New York to get back in this game, down 85-77, and totally out of sync in their offense. The shot clock running down. Ewing at the top for a 3. 4 seconds remaining on the 24-second clock. Makes it. But then as he goes up from behind his head, which we mentioned earlier, something Jordan loves to do, gets the block, off to the races in transition, give it up, get it back, unselfish basketball.
The Bulls by 7. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden in New York. The other day following Game 4, Horace Grant guaranteed a Bulls victory tonight, although he did it with a disclaimer saying if we play the way we have these last 2 games, it is definitely a guaranteed win for us.
It's one of those times where you get in the middle of a thought and you realize what you're about to say and you go, oh, why am I saying this? And you try and get back out of it again.
Is that something you can relate to?
No, not at all. Not at all.
There's a steal by Tucker. Trent Tucker on the drive, rejected by John Starks, recovered by Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan has scored the Bulls' last 14 points, adding to the legend. The tip missed by King. And it will be Nick Ball.
Trent Tucker from behind with the flick, but then not used to really being an outstanding ball handler, just can't get going, hesitates. It gives Starks, who has great leaping ability, a chance to get back in transition defense and block the shot. And during that last timeout, Ahmad saw that Jordan was exhausted, really needed a blow. Sure enough, Phil Jackson gives him his chance right now. He has 38 minutes thus far in the game on the floor.
Ewing with the pass, Mason, and for the 4th time, an illegal defense call against the Bulls, but the Knicks, who have been brutal at the foul line, have not been able to take advantage. So Michael Jordan getting a rest from Phil Jackson. 26 points, 12 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block shot.
Here's the man that's going to dive down deep, and they're going to wind up with 2 defensive players playing him, and he won't have the basketball. You can't do that. You can only double team a man with the ball. They're called for the illegal defense.
The Knicks only 1 out of 5 from the field in the 4th. They have scored only 4 points in this 4th quarter. Ewing now facing Scott Williams. Smith went short, handled by Williams. So Scottie Pippen now is the quarterback of this unit. Pippen, Tucker, Paxson, Williams, and Grant on the floor. Michael Jordan getting set to return. Tucker for 3. Grant. And here comes Jordan.
For Chicago, until Jordan returned, you had only one guy who could create off the dribble. That was Pippen. So New York's defense could focus on that. For New York, you have two people that can take you off the dribble, Starks and Rivers. Now Jordan's back in, so you have 2-2 as far as guys who can create for their teammates.
Mason backing his way and works inside. He also thought he was fouled. The Bulls, 87. The Knicks, 83. 17 to Mason. The champ of defense, Pippen, pulled up as he was met by Ewing and lost it. Pat Riley now goes with Rivers and starts at the guards. Ewing, Smith, Mason up front. 6 minutes remaining of the game. Ewing. And rebounded by Grant. Mason went for the steal. Grant lost it. Grant with the recovery, but it's picked off. The Bulls get back. Starks regroups. Ewing. Yes. The Knicks move within 2. And Phil Jackson takes a timeout. This capacity crowd reacting to the Knicks moving within 2. The Chicago Bulls led by as many as 8. Our primetime NBA playoff coverage will continue. Game 6 tomorrow night. Dick Enberg, along with Magic Johnson, Steve Jones, bringing it to you 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Phoenix up 3 games to 2 over Seattle. The Knicks in Chicago resume in Chicago on Friday night with Game 6. 7, if necessary, Saturday or Sunday. Oh, Spike Lee into it. But Michael Jordan has been the story once again. We've gone 10 minutes and 51 seconds since someone other than Jordan scored for the Bulls. He has scored the last 14 Chicago points. He has 26 in all. The Bulls with a 2-point lead.
I wouldn't be surprised if Phil Jackson said to Michael Jordan in that timeout, try to get somebody else involved. We need some other people to be able to get baskets for us. Jordan has not had an assist since we mentioned he got his 12th one quite a while ago.
The Bulls have missed their last 6 shots. The Knicks with a 5-0 run. Shot clock at 7. Ewing again from deep. Yes! And it counts!
Grant tries to rotate up, gets there a little late on the arm after the shot. Basket's good. Free throw attempt coming up for Patrick Ewing.
Like these could be the defining moments in the career of Patrick Ewing, who is seeking his first championship ring. The test, can he come up big, as Michael Jordan has in so many situations in huge ball games.
So what you're saying is consistency alone is not enough. You have to rise above that to bring your team to the next level.
Absolutely. Patrick Ewing still has that to prove. The Knicks by 1. 4.5 remaining in the game, and that is a foul on Rivers. Oh, the Knicks are upset. Pat Riley trying to control Anthony Mason, who objected vehemently to that call on Rivers. It is a block on Rivers.
I don't think there's any question. Rivers was trying to play him tight, tough. He didn't want to give Jordan a chance to go up with the jumper, but he's moving his feet and his body's into him as he's going along trying to defend Michael.
Second team foul on the Knicks. Bulls with 3. Bulls go to the weave once again. Grant with a nice head fake. Rebound Ewing. Look out. Pippen with the steal. Scottie Pippen. Taking advantage of the Knicks turnover. Under 4 minutes remaining in the game. Shot clock at 6. Jordan to the left hand. Forced and through the foul. He had to release. The shot clock was running down. Rivers called for number 4.
The way Chicago got possession back as New York was coming up the floor, a cross-court pass, not realizing how much ground Pippen can cover. He gets the steal. Michael wanted that side of the floor to be wide open. Cartwright was occupying the low left block. As a result, Michael knew there was no way for him to go all the way to the basket. He was going to wind up having to pull up and take a jumper. That's why a little conversation took place between Michael and Bill trying to get this signal straight.
Well, Jordan able to tie it, but could not give the Bulls the lead. He is now 7 for 9 from the line. The Knicks and the Bulls tied at 88. Down to 3:35 remaining in the game. Starks for 3. Rebounded by Grant. Starks. Pippen works off the pick. Here's Pippen. Jordan with the rebound. Michael Jordan able to convert on the putback to give Chicago a 2-point lead.
With the score 88-88 as Charles Smith tries to push it down quickly, something Riley and the Knicks have tried to do. With the score tied, Starks came down and lofted the three-pointer up at the basket. And since Ewing was going well, it's not quite what Coach Pat Riley wanted at that particular time. Long jumper, just to say, come on, John, that's not the shot we want. Missed shot by Chicago, but Jordan sneaks in underneath, puts it back up and in to give Chicago the 2-point lead.
Michael Jordan called for the foul, a second, putting Charles Smith at the line. Smith is a 78% free throw shooter. Michael Jordan has scored the last 17 points for the Bulls. Well, the Knicks are now 18 for 30 at the line. The Bulls by 1 with just under 3 minutes remaining in the fourth. Now Rivers guarding Jordan and is called for a reach-in. That is number 5, committed by Doc Rivers, and both teams now have 4 team fouls.
Here's what Michael Jordan wanted. While action is taking place here on an up screen, the whole side of the floor is cleared for Jordan to get in isolation. The stuff outside is just make-believe. Give Michael a chance to go one-on-one.
Not shooting foul. Pippen was held by Smith, and that puts the Knicks over the limit. Smith with his 5th, and Chicago will go to the line. So it has come down to this. In game number 5, the series is tied at 2. Knicks winning the first 2 here in New York. Chicago bouncing back convincingly. 5 apiece on Rivers and Smith. Cartwright is 5. Scottie Pippen is now 3 of 6 from the line. He is only a 66% free throw shooter. Neither club distinguishing itself at the free throw line. 1 of 2 for Pippen, and the Bulls now lead 91-89. So finally, someone else in a Chicago uniform has put a point on the board. They went 14 minutes since someone other than Michael Jordan had scored. And the last ball to score was Pippen. Ewing dishes out to Rivers, tries the 3. The Knicks 92, the Bulls 91. Doc Rivers during the playoffs has hit a number of big shots. He hit one just a moment ago. Ewing for Smith. Charles Smith not able to hit. And a loose ball foul called on Anthony Mason. So the Bulls go back to the line because the Knicks are over the foul limit.
And we said a moment ago that Pat Riley wasn't real happy with the Starks three-point attempt. This one a different situation on a kick-out pass from the big man with the shot clock running down. Seems to make the coach a little bit happier.
Horace Grant, only a 62% free throw shooter. Chicago, 15 of 21 from the line, and Horace making his first appearance at the free throw line. Well, a clutch free throw by Horace Grant has tied the game at 92. A minute and 37 remaining in the fourth quarter. Hits one of two, and a loose ball foul is called. It's on Bill Cartwright. He's fouled out. That is a big loss for the Bulls because Cartwright, the most effective out of the Chicago roster in keeping Patrick Ewing off the blocks.
Looked like Bill was going to come up with the missed free throw himself. He comes across the lane, gets a hand on it, but then it's his body momentum. He had a big 7-footer like on the move. Starks sneaks underneath him. Body hits body, the foul is called.
Bill Jackson taking his time, making a decision on the substitution, and has decided to go with Stacey King. Stacey goes about 6'10", 6'11". So he'll be matched with Patrick Ewing, who is 7 for 12 from the line. 32 points for Ewing. Hit some critical shots down the stretch. And hits the free throw to give the Knicks a 1-point lead. A reminder tonight, following your late local news, don't miss the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, late night with David Letterman, and then later with Bob Costas, all tonight, right here on NBC. That's time remaining. 1:25 to go in the fourth. Knicks with a 1-point lead. Jordan gets the pick from Grant. A three-pointer for B.J. Armstrong, and he's given Chicago a 95-93 lead.
So just when you think the man is going to try and take over by himself and win it, no, he brings two defenders, leaves the best three-point shooter in the league wide open, and B.J. Armstrong produces.
For the Bulls, their first three-pointer of the game. The Bulls with a 2-point lead by virtue of that B.J. Armstrong three-pointer from the left-hand corner. That's the timeout situation. Bulls have 3 full out of 20. The Knicks with 2 timeouts left with a minute and 16 to go.
Phil Jackson feeling that Scott Williams plays Ewing a little bit better than Stacey King. Has Williams in there. General idea is they're going to go to Ewing down low, try and get something.
Here's Rivers for 3. Could not hold on. Hit him in the chest, and it will be Chicago ball.
Maintain your composure right now. Understand there's plenty of time left in the game. Get a stop defensively before you get the ball back. On the errant three-point attempt, it just slips off Ewing's hands. Ball hits out of bounds. Eddie Rush says ball to Chicago. See if they get it back to Michael to create for someone else coming to the middle.
Jordan played by Rivers. Pitched out to Armstrong from the other corner. His three-pointer in and out. And a foul is called on Chicago. Three-point attempt by B.J. Armstrong would not drop. Scottie Pippen called for the foul. So both the Knicks and the Bulls are over the limit. And with 52 and 8/10 seconds to go in this fourth quarter, Charles Smith back to the line. He's 3 of 4 from the line.
time and score, the most important thing, and you don't want to commit fouls and give the opponents a chance to either take the lead or tie up the basketball game. Sometimes there's a point where you don't want to be too aggressive. That was one of those times. You don't have inside position, concede the rebound, let it go.
Well, Charles Smith way off on that first attempt, and the Knicks self-destructing at the foul line. 19 for 34 at the line. Resume. Charles Smith will go back to the line. He missed his first of 52 and 8/10 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter, in Chicago with a 2-point lead here at Madison Square Garden in New York. The timeout rundown. Both teams are over the foul limit. Only 7 times the last 15 years has a team down 3 games to 2 been able to come back. And your Atlanta Hawks back in '88 beat the Celtics in Boston in Game 5 and then lost the series with Celtics winning at the Omni and then winning Game 7 up in Boston.
Team lost the first 2, went home 1-2, right back to the Boston Garden. Beat the Celtics up there to take a 3-2 lead, then went home and lost a 2-pointer. Then the same thing in Game 7 in the Boston Garden.
The Bulls 95, the Knicks 94. Shot clock at 10. Pippen backs it up, puts the move on Smith. Off the fake, gives to King, and he's rejected by Ewing. It's a 24-second violation.
Scottie Pippen's upset because he was trying to call a timeout with 2 seconds left on the 24-second clock. It was a great call by Pippen. He knew they weren't going to get a shot up. Right now, Pippen is trying to call timeout, but there's no possession yet. So Pippen, arguing with the official that he had called it, didn't realize that Stacey hadn't picked up the ball yet. You can't have a timeout if there's no possession.
28 and 8/10 seconds remaining. The Knicks down by 1 with the ball. Starks, played by Jordan. Ewing out to set a pick. Here's Starks, changed his mind. Plenty of time on the shot clock, down to 10. Ewing for Smith. Smith. Strip, Smith, stopped. Smith, stopped again by Pippen. What a play by Scottie Pippen. Final seconds, Jordan for Armstrong. And the Bulls have defeated the Knicks. The Chicago Bulls with a couple of spectacular plays. Scottie Pippen stopping Charles Smith. And the Bulls win it. That last basket will count. The Bulls 97, the Knicks 94. Scottie Pippen, one of the heroes for the Chicago Bulls, doing it on the defensive end.